Good evening. Good evening, everyone. Shabbat Shalom. It's wonderful to see all of you here. I know there are people joining us online as well. Kibitzing will have to pause until after the service, but we'll have plenty of time for that too. It's a pleasure to welcome you to our Meet the Congregation Shabbat, where we explore our core ideas of humanistic Judaism, what brings us together as Kol Hadash Humanistic Congregation. As always for our Meet the Congregation Shabbat, we are enjoying the treat of having our High Holidays Choir as they are rounding into shape for the holidays, which are only a couple of weeks away, and I know it very, very intensely. So I'm looking forward to seeing many of you back here for those holidays, and of course our choir back as well. But it's a great pleasure to have them here to celebrate Shabbat with us on this rare occasion that they do so. Our service, as I said, explores our core ideas. It begins with one of the major purposes of the congregation, and that is to feel connected to each other. The first song in your service booklet is our nigun. It's called Bim Bam. The words are Bim Bam, Bim 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 Bam, and Shabbat Shalom. So if you've been awake for the previous 2 minutes, you know all you need to know to sing this song. So the point of the song is not the meaning of the words. The point of the song is being together and singing together. So I invite you all, as you're comfortable, to please join me. Bim bam, bim 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 bam, bim 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 bam, bim bam, bim 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 bam, bim 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 bam. Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom, Shabbat 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 shalom, Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom. Shabbat, 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 Shalom. Shabbat, 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 Shalom. Shabbat, 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 Shalom. Shabbat, Shalom. Shabbat, Shalom. Shabbat, 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 Shalom. Bim, bam, bim, 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 bam. Bim, 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 bam. And just hum. Please read together on the lines in italic text. 6 days we speak, tonight we listen. 6 days we build, tonight we rest. 6 days we take care of others, tonight we nurture ourselves. 6 days we work to change our world. Tonight we are renewed by what is eternal. 6 days we plan for the future. Tonight we are enveloped in the present. 6 days we eat and drink in haste. Tonight we savor the taste of wine and feel the bond to the world that feeds us. 6 days we teach. Tonight we learn. 6 days we hear the clamor. Tonight we listen for clarity. 6 days we struggle to expand our influence. Tonight we are dissolved in a greater influence. 6 days we focus our vision at the task at hand. Tonight we look beyond what we can see. I wish you Shabbat Shalom. Now, normally at this time I would invite up the host of our Oneg Shabbat, Kathy Schiller, who's in the audience, and Lori Schiller, who is, Kathy Wegley, who's in the audience, and Lori Schiller, who is in the choir. But Kathy has limited wheels, and Lori is trapped in his row. And so I'll light this candle on their behalf as our choir leads us in singing Baruch HaOr, let us light these lights.
Shabbat, Baruch Shalom.
any religion tries to connect us to something beyond ourselves. And so too with humanistic Judaism. Our connections are part of the natural world, but they are still beyond our individual experience, whether it is a connection to nature, or a connection to Jewish heritage, or a connection to other people all over the world. We feel part of that human civilization that has always given us something larger to long for, to work for, and to feel connected to. Every time we share wine at our congregation, we are connected to the natural world, to other people, and to our Jewish heritage at the same time. And so this evening I'll sing our Kiddush in Hebrew, and then we'll say the English all together as well. Savri Maranan V'Rabbanan De'etmol Kiddashnu et hayayin Savri Maranan V'Rabbanan De'hayom Baruchim Aborim Pri Hagafen HaShabbat Mesamchenu HaShabbat Merapenu Legufotenu Lenafshotenu HaShabbat Meashrenu Baruchim HaShomrim et Yom HaShabbat. In English, the rabbis and sages of old proclaimed, we sanctify this wine. The rabbis and sages of today proclaim, blessed is the fruit of the vine. The Shabbat makes us joyful. The Shabbat heals us in body and in spirit. The Shabbat enriches us. Blessed are those who keep the Shabbat. L'chaim, l'chaim, to life. The Jewish experience has been one of celebration and suffering, of tragedy and triumph. From their experience, the Jews have learned to laugh and to cry and to hope. The source of their hope is the strength that they give one another. Their strength is the courage to change what they have received from the past in every generation to face new challenges. The Jewish people is an ancient people of many lands. Dispersed among different cultures, learning new languages, the Jewish people met other peoples. Today, Jewish allegiance is not only to Jews around the world, but also to fellow citizens in their native lands. The Jews are a family, and their national neighbors are their friends. When humanistic Jews celebrate their heritage, they connect with their tradition on their own terms. They sing melodies of their past with words they believe. They affirm the importance of human power and human ingenuity to make the world a better place, and they joyfully welcome all who celebrate with them. And a note of a program change, instead of this song, we'll be hearing Libi, Libi, which demonstrates the principle of this reading, that the traditional Eli, Eli, written by Hannah Senish some 80 years ago, has been adapted to, instead of my God, my heart, Libi, Libi. The Jews, by Yehuda Amichai, a journey through history, memory, myth, and connection. You'll notice there are commentaries on the side for those in the room with the service in front of them. Sort of like a Talmud page would have commentaries, or a Torah page might have commentaries, so too does this poem deserve other thoughts, new explorations, and open up new pathways to connect and to think. The Jews are like photos in a display window, all of them together, short and tall, alive and dead, brides and grooms, bar mitzvah boys and babies. Some are restored from old yellowed photographs. Sometimes people come and break the window and burn the pictures, and then they start photographing and developing all over again and displaying them again, sad and smiling. Rembrandt painted them wearing Turkish turbans with beautiful burnished gold. Chagall painted them hovering in the air, and I paint them like my father and my mother. And what about God? God lingered like the scent of a beautiful woman who once faced them in passing and they didn't see her face, only her fragrance remained, kinds of perfumes. Blessed be the creator of kinds of perfumes. A Jewish man remembers the Sukkah in his grandfather's home, and the Sukkah remembers for him the wandering in the desert that remembers the grace of youth and the tablets of the 10 Commandments and the gold of the golden calf and the thirst and the hunger that remembers Egypt. And what about God? According to the settlement of divorce from the Garden of Eden and from the temple, God sees his children only once a year, on Yom Kippur. The Jews are not a historical people and not even an archaeological people. The Jews are a geological people with rifts and collapses and strata and fiery lava. Their history must be measured on a different scale. Some time ago, I met a beautiful woman whose grandfather performed my circumcision long before she was born. I told her, "You don't know me, and I don't know you, but we are the Jewish people. Your dead grandfather and I, the circumcised, and you, the beautiful granddaughter with golden hair. We are the Jewish people." And what about God? Once we sang, Ein Kelohenu, there is no God like ours. Now we sing, there is no God of ours. But we sing, we still sing. The Jewish people has many voices. Some are young, others mature. Some are attached to practices of the past. Others desire harmony between belief and action. Humanistic Judaism is one more voice in the chorus. Humanistic Jews come together for meaningful experiences. They share a connection to the Jewish people, they share a philosophy of life, and they share a commitment to the future. Humanistic Jewish communities agree to disagree on small issues to celebrate what is at the heart of their Jewish and human commitments. May a Talmudic example of pluralism, cast in traditional religious language, serve as a model for Jewish life in our own days. For 3 years, there was a dispute between Beit Shammai, the house of Rabbi Shammai, and Beit Hillel, the house of Hillel, one asserting the law is in agreement with our views, and the other asserting the law is in agreement with our views. Sounds familiar? Then a voice from heaven announced, The utterances of both are the words of the living God, but the law is in agreement with the ruling of Beit Hillel. If both are the words of the living God, why was Beit Hillel entitled to have the law fixed in agreement with their rulings? Because they were kindly and modest. They studied their own rulings and those of Beit Shammai, so much as to mention the actions of Beit Shammai before theirs. We know more than we can see. Particles too small to see, we know, are the essence of reality. The earth we call home is but a beam of dust, lost in a crowd of unseen, silent suns. The innocence of children, the secret language of lovers, a flood of joy surprising the heart, these too we know through senses finer than the eye. Tonight we rest our vision and open the eyes within. We would know goodness. We would seek truth. We would honor justice. Beyond the world of cash and clamor is a more enduring realm. Here are found integrity, courage, righteousness. The quiet fellowship of this hour renews that world and restores it to our sight. The light of life is a finite flame. Like the Shabbat candles, life is kindled, it burns and glows, it is radiant with warmth and beauty. But soon it fades, its substance is consumed, and it is no more. In light we see and can be seen. The flames dance and our lives are full. But as night follows day, shadows follow the flames. We see no more, and no more are seen. Yet we do not despair, for we are more than a memory. With our lives we give life. We move in the eternal circle of darkness and death, of life and light. If you're comfortable standing, could I ask you to stand for just a moment? A congregation is not only its present and its future, it is also its past. This congregation would not exist without a generation and more that contributed, that gave of their time and their energies, their commitment and their joy, that were part of this community in the past that gave it its present today. Some of them are no longer with us. And that is true for our families as well. Our families did not spring like the original Adam in the Bible from the dust of the ground. They came from parents and grandparents and grandparents and grandparents that goes back into time before memory, and we hope goes forward to time beyond knowing as well. And so I invite us to feel this transcendence, the transcendence of time, to connect to the legacy of the past in our family and our congregational community, as it also gives us energy and commitment to the future. Let us pause for a silent reflection. In Jewish life, we say, Zecher tzadikim livracha, the memory of good people is a blessing to us. Please be seated as these words are sung. There are many ways to create culture and meaningful experience. There's prose and there's poetry, but there's also that unique combination of melody and words that makes music. We're very fortunate at Kol Hadash that we have a choir and a tradition of a choir led by the incomparable Ellen Apley, who bring us that gift of music as part of special moments in our congregational life at the holidays, but also on Shabbats as well. And so tonight we have 3 songs that our choir will be presenting. I turn this over to them.
Shalom, shalom.
They deserve applause even if we don't clap during services. Sometimes one generation makes all the difference. When Humanistic Judaism started in the 1960s and began to grow in the 1970s, it was led by charismatic and iconoclastic rabbis and leaders like Sherwin Wine in Detroit, Dan Friedman in Chicago, Peter Schweitzer in New York. They had broken away from the Reform Judaism of their training and even more traditional Judaisms of their upbringing. They were challenging the status quo. They were breaking boundaries. They were radicals. Now, I grew up in a humanistic congregation, I never considered humanistic Judaism to be that radical. It just worked. It made sense. I never felt like I had to say one thing in synagogue and something else at home or in science class or in history class. They always worked together. It just made sense. Our approach to the world we live in just makes sense. Stuff happens out there, no matter what we hope or wish for, and it's up to us to make it better or sometimes to make it worse. We understand the world through reason and evidence. We try to find out the truth as best we can discover it, and if there's new evidence, maybe truth changes too. We learn that we have to take care of ourselves, and we also have to take care of others. It's a concept called enlightened self-interest. I do what's good for me, but with an understanding that I'm related to other people too. We have mutual responsibility as well as enlightened self-interest. And we believe that this life is the only one that we can know. And if that's it, then why not make the best of it in the time that we have? That's humanism, and it just makes sense to me. I think that our view of being Jewish makes a lot of sense too. Jews believe so many different things that religion is part of being Jewish, but not all of it. It makes a lot more sense to think about being Jewish as to be connected to a culture that includes holidays and life cycle events, and also literature, which includes both holy writings, which were written by people, and ordinary stories, poetry, prose, and drama written by people since the holy writings. And those modern writings can be just as extraordinary. It just makes sense to call it a culture because that's how people live it. It's food and language and music. It's not only religious belief and ritual practice. If our Jewishness is a culture, cultures are made by people. They change over time in response to new needs and new ideas, new creativity. Culture influences other cultures and is influenced by other cultures. And that's our Judaism, and it just makes sense, because that's how people live, and that's what Jewish life has been like from its beginnings. We're in election season right now, as you may have noticed. And sometimes polls come about. You know, fewer and fewer people are answering their phones for anything anymore, but certainly for polling. But I once answered the phone for a poll, and after asking my political opinions, they began to ask some demographic questions. One of the questions they asked was about religious connections. So they said, "Did the clergy at your congregation preach about political issues recently?" And I had to think, did I? How often do you attend religious services? All the time. How often do you pray? Never. I'm sure their data went, did not make any sense to them, but that's who we are. We attend services and we don't pray. But we get the question all the time, how can you be a Jewish congregation, a congregation that doesn't pray, that doesn't teach its children and its adults to worship a God, to believe that the Torah comes from heaven, whether it was directly from heaven or maybe through the intermediary of people writing it, that there's something divine about this document? Well, what does Kol Hadash do as a congregation, as a community, as a group of people, whatever you want to call it? We share Jewish community connection. We celebrate Jewish holidays, Jewish life cycle celebrations as expressions of Jewish culture that we can adapt to meet human needs and our values. We provide a Jewish education for our children in that Jewish cultural identity, as well as helping them learn to think for themselves. We offer that transcendence I spoke about, the inspiration and the community connection, a sense of being part of something before our time and beyond our time. And we do good in the world by acting together. We also believe that you don't have to be Jewish to do Jewish. That is, if you're at this Shabbat service tonight, whether you identify as Jewish or not, you're doing something Jewish by being here. You can eat latkes, you can spin dreidels, you can light Hanukkah candles, you can be part of a Jewish family. And we've had our doors open to intercultural and interfaith families from our beginnings in the 60s, when many rabbis wouldn't give you the time of day, let alone publicly officiate a ceremony. Our rabbis did. It's a point of pride for us. Now, if a community does all those things, If it walks like a congregation and quacks like a congregation, then maybe it's reasonable to call it a congregation. The Hebrew for synagogue is Beit Knesset, which means house of meeting. It's not a Beit El, the house of God. The Beit El, the house of God, was the temple in Jerusalem. But the Beit Knesset was the house of meeting, the place where the people gathered. It's a human house. So, okay, our arguer concedes, maybe you can have a Jewish community of humanistic Judaism. But how can you have a rabbi who is not devout and pious, not a frum observer of Jewish law who follows everything strictly, a model of Jewish identity and religious practice? Now, I have to point out that the person saying that is missing something even about traditional Judaism, because in Orthodox communities, there is no tradition of the rabbi has to do more than any ordinary member. Everybody's expected to keep kosher, to follow the Shabbat rules, to not violate any of those commandments. So there's no idea that the rabbi is the designated Jew who has to suffer on everybody's behalf. You know, the idea of someone suffering on your behalf, maybe that belongs to another tradition. Very early in my tenure at Kol Hadash, I was chatting with someone about my plans for the high holidays, and I mentioned that before Yom Kippur services, I was planning to go out to breakfast at Walker Brothers Pancakes. And they said to me, "You're going out publicly for breakfast? What if somebody sees you?" I said to them, "Well, I'll just say to them, what are you doing here?" If there's no difference in standard for the rabbi and anybody else, then I'm not ashamed to drink water on Yom Kippur because I have to talk. And that isn't what defines the holiday for me. Some of our members choose not to eat on Yom Kippur. Some of our members do eat on Yom Kippur. Some of our members find a middle ground that works for them. I love the fact that you are free to make your own choices about that. That's who we are. Not one tradition or the other, but freedom to make the choice of what of your heritage is meaningful to you. So just like the walking like a congregation, quacking like a congregation, what does it mean to quack like a rabbi? I teach. I create and lead celebrations. I help to organize communities and occasionally put out fires in community organization. I provide pastoral counseling and support. One of my colleagues, Rabbi Greg Epstein, who's the humanist chaplain at Harvard and MIT, in his first book, Good Without God, points out that reason and science are all well and good, but they can't visit you in the hospital. There's something about having that connection with someone who can do that that's meaningful, and it's some of the most meaningful work that I do, to be able to help people through those difficult times. Most importantly, my job is to be an expert in Jewish identity and to provide that kind of emotional and philosophical support, to explore ideas, to provide inspiration, but also to make you think. In a traditional ordination, two questions were asked and answered of rabbis. Yoreh, can he teach? It was answered, Yoreh, he can teach. Yadin, can he judge? Can he enact religious law? Yadin, he can judge. Well, when humanistic rabbis are ordained, we still ask two questions, but the questions are different. The first question is the same. Yoreh, can he teach? Toreh, can she teach? Toreh, she can teach. That's still a part of the tradition. But the second question is different. We ask, instead of to judge, Yaskil, can he enlighten? Taskil, she can enlighten. That's our role. That's our duty. It's to provide light, to be that shamas, that candle that lights others, not to guard the light for ourselves and then tell you what to do. Now, if it walks like a rabbi and it quacks like a rabbi, maybe it's appropriate to call it a rabbi. Now, there is a title in Mizrahi Judaism and Eastern Judaism in the Middle East. They call their leaders chacham, which means sage. And at one time I thought about printing up business cards that said sage on it instead of rabbi, but I thought that might be a little bit chutzpahdik. To my mind, Kol Hadash is just not that controversial. At its most basic, we are a community of people who share a connection to this cultural Jewish identity, either as individuals, in our own heritage, or as part of a family we've married into. We share a philosophy of life and how the world works. We share common values, even as we may have differing interpretations of those values. We don't always have to agree on everything. I love that slogan we came up with, like-minded people who don't think alike. And we choose to come together for a feeling of community, to celebrate together, to commemorate together, to create meaningful experiences like these beautiful musical experiences together, just like they do at other congregations too. It's not that radical for people who share values and share an identity and share beliefs and share a desire to create meaningful experience to do that. That's what we do. And yet, we're not just like everyone else. We like to say we do Jewish differently. There was a wonderful project undertaken by Andrea Friedlander and Susan Adelson, along with some input from me too, that revamped our website from top to bottom to explore the many aspects of Jewish and human life and highlighting what we do differently. And I invite you, if you haven't had a chance to browse through that, take a look as we go through the Jewish calendar, find each of the holidays, and see how we do Sukkot differently, how we do Hanukkah differently. They're all interesting, they are insightful, and they may expand your understanding of your connection to Kol Hadash, even if you've been here from the very beginning. It explains mitzvahs and why we do them, our Jewish education, and everything else. I once asked someone at a congregational event, why do we have such interesting people that are part of Kol Hadash? And this person told me that people become part of a humanistic congregation because of the ideas. It's not the convenience, it's not the lake view, it's not even the sign on the side of the road, though we have gotten a couple of members who saw the sign on the side of the road. It's not even the carpooling to Sunday school. You wouldn't believe how many people join a congregation for the carpool to Sunday school. For us, it's about who we are and what we believe and what we share. People sometimes ask, what's the best way to explain what Kol Hadash is? You know, we could work on bumper stickers. And one year for the high holidays, I actually had a whole series of bumper sticker suggestions. So one of them was me, we, that combination of the individual and the group. Another one, what's a three-letter word for who's in charge of your life? Y-O-U. Or another slogan, miracles happen, they take a lot of work. Or maybe we focus on simple concepts. Our movement, our identity is about this life, this world, these hands, and you together. Or maybe we can come up with other slogans, like the one I mentioned before, like-minded people who don't think alike. We could use, in good we trust, with the implied shift. Or matzah without dogma. Maybe that's the point. But sometimes the best approach is the easiest. All you have to do is describe why Kol Hadash, why humanistic Judaism works for you. Every answer will be different and personal and meaningful. You know, evangelical Christians often testify. They share their personal experience of meaning and why they are who they are. Well, we can do it too. We can just call ourselves humangelicals. We're spreading our message and sharing our testimony of why this identity, this community is meaningful to us. We know that there are over 1 million American Jews out there who do not believe in the God of the Bible, who define their own Jewishness as a culture and ancestry, and they might find that humanistic Judaism works for them too, just like it works for us. As James Earl Jones once said in the movie, once we build it, if we build it, maybe they'll come. But once we sound the shofar, the doors are open, and let them come. Well, again, I want to thank our onikos, Lori and Kathy. I want to thank our choir for their musical accompaniment tonight. Thank, of course, Ellen for her organization, and our new pianist, Boris, who has done a wonderful job as well. Our closing song is on page 12. I'll also recognize Larry Dworsky on the electric bass, who provides wonderful accompaniment for the choir. And so our last song, Peace Be With You, again, just like Simcha and Tsuris, originally written in this Unitarian church by Ann Bartonfeld Barrows and adapted by our Rabbi Emeritus Daniel Friedman. We wish each other peace, love, and joy.
Peace be with you wherever you go. Peace be with you whatever you do. Peace be with you till we meet.
Once again, I wish you all a Shabbat Shalom. Please wish Shabbat Shalom to the people near you.